Okay, Algebra 1, I'm going to do some examples now of how to write some equations of lines in slope-intercept form with various given information. So I'm going to start out by, say it said something like, write the equation of a line through these 2 points, and it gave you 2 points. So the first thing you do is what Tani calls a subtractee thingy, which is where you go y minus y over x minus x, and that's to find your slope, because remember, every line needs a slope and a y-intercept. So here I would go 2 minus negative 4 over negative 3 minus negative 4. So then I would do that one minus that one on the bottom. Change those to plus a positive. That makes the top 6. And the bottom changes to plus a positive, and negative 3 plus 4 is 1. So my slope is 1. So I would now put that in an equation. So I'm going to write 6, or my slope isn't 1, I'm sorry, my slope is 6. So I put the 6 in front of the x, and now what I don't know is my y-intercept, so I'm going to write plus b. And remember, you were given 2 points that your line goes through, this one and this one, so you can take either point, either this point or this point, and plug it in for x and y in your equation to solve for b. I'm going to go with negative 3, 2, just because I like them. I don't know why. It doesn't matter, though. You should get the same answer either way. So I'm going to put my 2 in for y, and then I'm going to say 6 times negative 3 plus b, and that gives me negative 18 plus b equals 2. And now I would add 18 to both sides to find b, and now b would be 20. So now I can go back up here, erase my b, and I can put in 20 as the y-intercept, and that's the equation of my line. Now remember, if it said, like on this one, if it said that it is parallel to the line through these 2 points, then all you would do is find the slope, and then it would probably give you another point that it might cross through, say negative 4, 5. So if it said parallel, then you'd use the same slope, and then you'd use the point it gave you to plug in for your x and y to find the y-intercept. And now the last thing is if it told you that it is perpendicular to the line through these 2 points, so again, these same 2 points, then you would find a slope, and again that's 6, and since it's perpendicular, you would have to write negative 1/6 x plus b. And so again, it might give you another point it goes through, like maybe the origin. If it said it goes through the origin and it's perpendicular to the line through these 2 points, then you would know that this y-intercept is 0, and the equation of your line would be this, okay? So those are just some various ways that it might ask you questions. But remember, with any 2 points it gives you, you can find the slope of a line. You just need to make sure if it's perpendicular to a line through 2 points, then you're doing the opposite reciprocal of whatever that slope is. If it's parallel of a line through 2 points, then you're going to find the slope, and that's the slope of your new line. Or if it just wants you to write the equation of a line through 2 points, which is what I did right here, then you find the slope, put the slope in, and then you would use either point to find your b. So that's the only time you would use either point. Okay, let's do another example. So say it goes through 4, 5, and it's parallel to y equals 3. So let's look at the line that it's parallel to, y equals 3. And so you think about that. What kind of line is y equals negative 3? It doesn't have an x, which means that this is a horizontal line, crosses the y-axis. And so if our new line needs to be parallel to y equals negative 3, our new line will also be horizontal, so it stays parallel. And if it's horizontal and crosses through 4, 5, then our equation is just y equals 5. We get the 5, we put it in from the point for y, and that's the equation of our line, and that's it. So if it said it was perpendicular to this line, then we would then know it's I'm just going to write that down. Perpendicular to y equals negative 3. Well, horizontal and vertical lines are perpendicular to each other, so we would now know that it would have to be vertical. And if it's perpendicular and went through this point, then the equation would be x equals 4, because it would now be an x equals line since it's vertical. So those are the 2 possibilities there. Now let's look at this one. Say it goes through the point negative 2, negative 5, and it has a slope of negative 1/4. We're going to put we're given the slope. We don't have to find anything. So we're going to put that negative 1/4 in for our slope in front of our x. And so now on this one, all we have to find is b. So now I'm just going to plug in these 2 points for x and y. So I'm going to have negative 5 equals negative 1/4 times negative 2 plus b. So I'll solve this one here. I'm going to cancel, make that 1, make that 2. And I'm going to kind of move down here a little bit. So it would have negative 5 equals, and this becomes negative 1 over 2 times negative 1 over 1. So it now becomes 1/2 positive plus b. So then if I subtract 1/2 from both sides, and I hope you guys can follow what I'm doing, negative 5 minus 1/2 is now negative 5 and 1/2. And so that's what the b is in this equation. So I would go back in, take out my b, I'll take out the plus since it's negative, and add that slope, negative 5.5. So that's my new line. And remember, that time it just gave you the slope, so it made it easy. You didn't have to do as much work. All right, let's look at this last one here. Okay. It goes through 3, 8, and it has an x-intercept of negative 3, 0. And so what we think about is we need slope and y-intercept. X-intercept, we can't put that in our equation. So really the x-intercept is just another point. It doesn't really give us any other information except it's going to cross the x-axis there, but we can't put that point in our equation. What we can do, though, is we can find the slope because we have 2 points. We have this point and this point that our line crosses through. So if I do my slope formula, I would go 8 minus 0 over 3 minus negative 3. So the top up here would be 8, and the bottom would be 6. So then I would reduce that down to 4/3. So my slope is 4/3. So I would now put that in my slope form, or my equation formula, 4/3 x plus b. So all I did, it gave us x-intercept, but you can't really do anything with that, so you just used it to find the slope with the other point. And now I'm going to take either point, either that one or this one, plug it in for x, and solve for b. I will just use the 3, 8 right here, and so that gives me, move that up a little bit, put the 8 in for y, equals 4/3 times 3 plus b. If I put that over 1, I can now cancel my 3's. And so I have 8 equals 4 plus b. If I subtract 4 from both sides, I get b equals 4. So my y-intercept on this equation is 4. Go back to where I wrote that equation and just add a 4. And so that's it. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Anyway, if there are others that you don't quite understand, just let me know. Remember, if it goes through the origin, your y-intercept is 0. If it goes through the origin, that's also a point on the line, 0, 0. So you can use that to find the slope if you're given another point on the line. So that's it, and I guess I will see you guys tomorrow. Talk to you later.